Okay, today's video we're going to start with some HVAC do-it-yourself installation and tips and tricks. We're going to start outside with the AC unit. I've replaced the fan motor right there. It's a very easy replacement, as well as the capacitor, which is located right inside that panel. Both very easy repairs. You get the parts at Shorty's out on the west side. You may ask why I have the tomato stake there, and that's to protect my lawnmower guy from hitting the fittings right there, which could damage the pipes and cause a leak, which I've had happen before. Also, you want to spray the outside, get the dust and debris out of that at the beginning of the season. Usually maybe once or twice you'll see a leaf up against there. That just keeps the airflow there. One thing that I would recommend at the beginning of the season, when you call for AC, have somebody out here making sure that the fan starts. I usually bring out a screwdriver. If I hear the fan motor kick on, doesn't turn, I'll stick the screwdriver down in there, hit the blades, and that usually will be enough to get it started. As you can see, it's a balmy 49 degrees in the house. I have turned off the heat. I have left the fan on, and we are going to go upstairs and replace the inducer motor assembly. I wanted to give you a tip. This unit is 15 years old. The previous homeowners ran the humidifier constantly, old school. Basically, the water drips down into a filter, which then goes into the AC compartment. Unbeknownst to the homeowners, the particles built up and clogged the drain on the tray, which then subsequently filled up with water, rusted, and a nice slot formed at the bottom of this tray where the AC coil unit's housed inside this square compartment. Since then, they've corrected that at the cost of about $1,000. So make sure that this drain pipe is clear of debris, and you should see that drip off as the AC unit is running. A couple technicians have told me to just go ahead and let the blower run continuously instead of having it stop and start. So downstairs I have that on versus auto. It, I think, would extend the life of the motor so it's not clicking on and off as the AC and heat kick on. The other thing is the filter. I buy a filter that's probably about $3 to $5 in price range, 8 MERV. It's not one of those that captures all the dust. The reason is because the air is blowing through there, and as you can see, this one, it's about 2 weeks old. As the air comes through here, particles trapped. If you get a filter that has a very high density to it, that reduces the amount of airflow. So they've recommended a 8 MERV, and I usually buy 6 at a time, $3 a piece, change them every month. I have replaced several items. The sensing bar right there just needs to be cleaned. Also the igniter, that is a very easy replacement. It's right there. It's basically like your gas grill igniter, and it will heat up and then start to gas. Just be sure not to touch it. It can subsequently crack from any kind of oil or buildup. So easy replacement. Nice to have a spare if you can afford it. It's a very cheap item. The biggest repair that I've made is the squirrel cage and motor, the blower motor, and that was about a 2-hour job. Obviously it had had some rust build up. It's extensive effort to get that out if the unit is older, but I did get it out, replaced it. That probably would have cost me close to, I don't know, $700–800 if I went through a repair company. The unit itself, I think, was $250. Took about 2 hours, so I saved myself quite a bit of money on that. Squirrel cage and blower motor. We're getting ready to do the inducer motor right there. and I turned on the unit, had a call for heat, noticed that it was humming, got very hot right here, and I think basically the bearings have locked up. So at this point we're going to replace that unit and hopefully get the heat back on. Sponsored by Shorty's. They're located out in West Newton, adjacent to Mooresville. It's about 7 to 8 minutes right off 465 off of 67 Kentucky Avenue. Love these guys. They've done me a lot of favors replacing parts. It seems like they have everything in stock, good pricing, shipping, but I usually go out there and pick it up, as is what I did today. So here's the new unit. What I've sent them was a picture. I also sent them a picture of the label that has the critical part numbers, product numbers, and that's what you want right there for them to get the right part. So we're ready to go. Should be a pretty easy removal and installation. First thing to do, make sure you turn the unit off. Prior to this, I also went outside and hit the breaker, kind of a reboot of the system, killed all the power to it, started it back up, but that didn't have any impact on the motor. We're going to basically unscrew those bolts and pull the assembly out. I've disconnected the terminals. Black was on top, white on the bottom. Should be a relatively easy removal and then replacement. 3 nut screws came out relatively easy. The old gasket's on there. We're going to remove that, clean that surface off, put on the new gasket, reseat the new inducer motor, plug in the terminals, and get it turned on. Up to bolts, screws are in. This bottom one's a little bit of a challenge because of the angle of the gas pipe. I do not have a magnetic screwdriver, so I'm going to use a little bit of tape to anchor the screw and get this going. It is out. I wanted to show you. It is definitely not spinning. Loctite. I usually like to take some pictures of the electrical layout just to make sure I get everything back in the right spot. In this case it's pretty simple, but if you had to replace something with multiple terminals, it's nice to have a snapshot picture. Gonna get it connected, hit the power and do a call for heat, and hopefully we'll be back in business. Gonna hit the heat button here. It's at 62. Should have done a call for heat. We'll run upstairs and see if it works. Wheels spinning. I hear it. Should clear all the gas out of the vent pipe. And there goes our lovely igniter. Come on, baby, baby. Here's some gas. There it is. Click is on. Fires up. Yeah. Love that sound. I want to make sure that the gas is going through nice and straight, which it is. Had this clean. And we're back in business. What a nice, easy install. Probably saved myself $300 right there, courtesy of Shorty's. Special shout out to Mike, who answered my email on a Sunday night. Drove out there and got the parts. So we're going to get the house back at a nice and toasty 68 degrees. Hope this helped everybody. Signing off for HVAC tips, tricks, and do-it-yourself repair.